You know, I've kept this secret for years. But today, I'm finally telling someone. The first time I walked into a store, picked out a dress, and imagined myself as someone completely different, I almost ran out. My heart was pounding, my hands were shaking. And part of me thought, what if I can't go through with this? Drop a comment if you've ever felt like you were about to do something terrifying, but exciting at the same time. Hi, I'm Alex, I'm 22, and I've always felt this pull toward exploring my feminine side. Even as a kid, I'd sneak into my sister's closet just to touch her clothes, feel the fabrics, imagine what it would feel like to wear them. It was thrilling and terrifying at the same time. I'd hide quickly whenever anyone came near, my heart racing, and yet part of me wanted to do it more than anything. This day was special because it wasn't just a daydream anymore. I had been saving up, planning it secretly for weeks. I wanted to see, even if just for a few hours, what it would feel like to fully express that part of me. To be free. Can you imagine keeping something like this hidden for years? The fear, the excitement, the constant what-ifs? I could barely sleep the night before. Part of me was terrified, but another part, one I hardly knew, was buzzing with anticipation. I remember sitting on my bed that morning, staring at my reflection, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. Can I really do this? I asked myself over and over. My fingers drummed nervously against my phone as I scrolled through pictures of dresses, shoes, even lipstick shades I'd been obsessing over for weeks. I knew exactly what I wanted. But committing to it? That was terrifying. Every thought was a whirlwind. What if someone sees me? What if I look ridiculous? What if I can't pull it off? But underneath all that fear, there was this electric thrill, this pulse of excitement that made my stomach flip. I kept imagining the moment I would step outside, dressed as my secret self. My heartbeat quickened. I've waited for this my whole life, I whispered to myself. And then, after a long, shaky breath, I made the decision. I grabbed my small backpack, stuffed it with the dress, the shoes, the accessories I'd carefully picked out, and whispered, "No turning back." I could feel my palms sweating, my mind racing, every what-if swirling together into one giant knot of fear and anticipation. I stepped toward the door, paused, and thought, okay, here goes nothing. Little did I know, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. The store smelled like new clothes and a faint hint of perfume, a world I didn't belong in. Yet somehow I did. My hands were shaking as I picked up the dress I had been dreaming about. Soft pastel, flowy, perfect. I held it against me, feeling the fabric slide through my fingers, my heart racing like crazy. Then came the shoes. Heels. I hadn't worn heels in my life. The cashier smiled politely as I paid, and I nodded, trying not to look like I was about to faint from nerves. Every beep of the register felt like a drumbeat counting down to something life-changing. Back at home, the real transformation began. I spread everything out on my bed, the dress, the shoes, the tiny earrings, the bracelet, even the lipstick. My hands trembled as I picked up the foundation, trying to steady them long enough to apply it. One dab at a time, my reflection began to change. Blush, mascara, eyeliner. I smudged a few times, laughed nervously, and wiped it away. Each mistake made me feel vulnerable, but also strangely exhilarated. Then came the dress. Sliding it over my head, feeling it cling to my shoulders, fastening the zipper. I froze. I touched the fabric, breathed it in. It felt like I was stepping into someone else's skin. And yet, it was me. My reflection smiled back, wide-eyed and trembling, a mix of fear and excitement dancing across my face. I added the earrings, the bracelet, adjusted the dress one last time. And then, I looked at my heels. My legs shook as I slipped them on, wobbling slightly with each step. I laughed nervously. Okay, I can do this. I have to do this. And just as I started to feel like maybe, just maybe, I could pull this off, there was a sudden knock at the door. My heart leapt into my throat. I froze. Who could it be? That moment made me realize I wasn't just playing dress-up anymore. Finally, alone again, I stood in front of the full-length mirror. My breath caught. I barely recognized the person staring back at me. Wide eyes, trembling lips, and, something I hadn't expected, a spark of confidence. It was surreal. My reflection smiled back at me, daring me to step fully into this new version of myself. I wobbled slightly in the heels, practicing a sway I didn't know I could pull off. The dress felt soft against my skin, flowing just right. I laughed nervously, trying to steady myself. "You look ridiculous," a small voice in my head whispered. But another voice, the one I had been quieting for years, said, "No, you look amazing. Keep going." I practiced a few turns, my reflection spinning with me. The sound of my heels clicking on the floor echoed through the room, and each step made me feel more alive. My chest tightened, not with fear this time, but with excitement. I could feel my heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of this new persona. Touching my face, adjusting my hair, smoothing out the dress, I was learning. Every gesture, every tiny movement felt like discovering a secret I'd kept for myself for years. I felt both nervous and exhilarated, vulnerable and powerful all at once. And then, just as I was beginning to feel comfortable, I heard a faint sound outside the door. A shadow. A cough. My stomach dropped. Could someone see me like this? I froze, frozen between panic and the thrill of my transformation. I thought I was ready. But I wasn't. Not yet. I told myself I'd just go to the cafe down the street, a place where nobody knew me. But even stepping out the door felt like stepping onto a stage. The wind brushed my arms, the dress swayed around my knees, and my heels clicked loudly on the pavement. Every step made my heart race. Inside, the cafe smelled warm and familiar, but I felt exposed, like everyone could see the real me. People glanced my way, and I felt a mix of fear and pride. A barista smiled as I ordered coffee, and I nearly choked on my own voice. Was this real? Were they okay with me like this? Then, the awkward moment. I tried to sit gracefully in the heels, wobbling, almost tipping over, and nearly spilling my drink. I laughed nervously, cheeks burning. "Smooth," I muttered under my breath. But instead of judgment, the laughter felt like freedom. I had done it. I was visible. I was me. I even struck up a small conversation with someone sitting near me. They complimented my dress and my smile. My chest swelled, a wave of relief and exhilaration washing over me. I realized how much I had wanted this. Just this tiny moment of being seen, accepted, alive. Then I noticed a familiar face in the corner. My heart stopped. Someone I knew. And they were staring. My stomach twisted. Did they recognize me? Would they say something? I froze, unsure if I could handle being caught like this. What happened next shocked me to my core. By the time I got home, I was completely exhausted. My feet ached from the heels, my legs were trembling, and my heart was still racing. But I had never felt more alive. I carefully removed the dress, the shoes, the makeup, and looked at myself in the mirror. And that's when it hit me. It wasn't the clothes that mattered. It wasn't the makeup, the heels, or even the way I looked. What mattered was me finally allowing myself to exist as I truly am. All those years of hiding, of pretending, of feeling like I had to suppress this part of myself, they felt like a lifetime ago. I had faced my fear, embraced my identity, and for the first time, felt fully free. I learned that courage isn't about never being afraid. It's about showing up for yourself, even when every part of you is screaming to run. That day, I discovered a side of myself I had only dreamed of, a side that was confident, alive, and unapologetically me. So if you're hiding who you really are, remember this. Your story matters. Your truth matters. You matter. Don't wait for permission from the world to be yourself. Give it to yourself first. Let me know if you want to hear part 2. Because this was just the beginning, and my journey got a lot more complicated from there.